شعبة ماس هنا في منطقة أورنج كذلك. إن شاء الله تكون ليلة طيبة إن شاء الله، وربنا سبحانه وتعالى ينظر إلينا نظرة رضا في هذه الليلة ويتقبل منا بفضل القرآن الكريم. قبل أن نأتي إلى هنا كنا نتحدث أنا وأخونا عمرو وبعض الشباب لقصة في زمن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم للأصوات الحسنة التي تقرأ بالقلب السليم، كأخونا الشيخ حسن الله يبارك فيه، يعني أن عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها تأخرت عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ليلة، فسألها رسول الله أين كنت؟ فقالت كنت أستمع إلى رجل من أمتك يقرأ القرآن الكريم في المسجد. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أرني إياه، فذهب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ليراه. من حلاوة صوته جلس رسول الله يستمع إليه. العجيب بقى النبي قال إيه بقى؟ قال الحمد لله الذي جعل أمثال هذا في أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. هو مين بقى؟ سالم مولى أبو حذيفة. الحمد لله أن ربنا سبحانه وتعالى من علينا في هذا المسجد بأهل القرآن، فضيلة الشيخ محمد، فضيلة الشيخ يسري، واليوم ما شاء الله ربنا سبحانه وتعالى أرسل إلينا نعم من نعمه، وكذلك فضيلة الشيخ مثنى. أين ذهب؟ أين ذهب الشيخ مثنى؟ كذلك من أصحاب الأصوات الرائعة فضيلة الشيخ خالد حماية، طبعا لا يخفى القمر، يعني ربنا سبحانه وتعالى ينزل علينا كرمه وعطفه ورحمته وعلى الأمة كلها بفضل القرآن. وما فيش أعجب من كلام سيدنا عثمان بن عفان الذي كان يقول والله لو طهرت قلوبكم ما شبعت من كلام ربكم. إن القرآن الكريم له أسرار، لكن هذه الأسرار لا تفتح إلا إذا أقبلت عليه بقلبك وجمعك. عند ذلك ينير الله سبحانه وتعالى القلب، وإذا أنار القلب تحركت كل الأشياء بفضل الله سبحانه وتعالى لما فيه خيرك في الدنيا وفي الآخرة. إن شاء الله تكون ليلة مباركة إن شاء الله، وربنا سبحانه وتعالى يحقق المطلوب فيها. طبعا هيكون في فاندريزنج كمان، يعني عشان إخواننا في ماس، وأخونا عبد الغفور عايز يضحك عليا وخلينا نعمل فاندريزنج، فأنا رفضت، بس إن شاء الله ما تكسفونيش يعني إن شاء الله ببركة القرآن العظيم، وعشان خاطر أولادكم إن شاء الله، وعشان خاطر أولادكم إن شاء الله، لأن احنا في ماس هنا بتعمل لتربية أبنائنا على الإسلام، فإن شاء الله إخواننا جميعا يتكاتفوا ويتعاونوا على هذا بإذن الله إن شاء الله. طيب أخونا عبد الغفور إن شاء الله هو الذي يقدم هذه الليلة، وهذا كرسي له إن شاء الله. تفضل سيدي. تفضل الله يرضى عليك.
Sorry everyone, it's wonderful to see all of you. I want to welcome you on behalf of the Masjid Ansar as well as Mass. It's a blessing. I just want to give you two stories personally from my life. When it comes to Maghrib in my household, it's Sheikh Hassan Saleh and his mandurat, his du'as, just before Maghrib or after. This is what we do, or when we're sleeping, we want to listen to Quran. Sheikh Hassan Saleh is one of the favorites within our house. So it just tells you when you see Sheikh Hassan in live, it's even different. And then when it comes to my kids love nasheeds. They really love nasheeds, different nasheeds. And now one of their favorites is Dr. Muhammad Abbas. Today my kid saw him, he was so excited just to see him. He always crossed the street without noticing the traffic. This is how excited he was. So I want to welcome all of you. And of course Mass, it does a lot of work, and Brother Tariq, he's our executive director locally. We just, alhamdulillah, the board here recently, last year in Ramadan, asked him to come in on board, and now he's fully executive director for Mass. And a lot of things are moving within Mass to really cater to the community. Inshallah, he's going to give you an update. We'll start with Sheikh Hassan Saleh in some Quran, and then right after that we'll have some quick talk by Brother Tariq and a quick short fundraising. And then right after that we'll go to Dr. Muhammad Abbas for some nasheed, and we'll end the program tonight with some qiyam and witr inshallah.
تفضل الله خير.
اللهم اجعل جمعنا جمعا مرحوما، تفرقنا من بعده معصوما، لا تدع فينا ولا منا ولا بنا شقيا ولا محروما. اللهم ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. اللهم يا ربنا كما جمعتنا على غير ارحام بيننا في هذا المسجد المبارك وفي هذه الليله الكريمه، فاجمعنا في الجنه مع اهل القران وخاصته الذين هم اهلك وخاصتك. اللهم يا ربنا لا تصرفنا من هذا الجمع إلا بذنب مرفوع وسعي مشكور وعمل صالح مبرور، وبارك في هذا المسجد يا رب العالمين وفي القائمين عليه وفي مشايخه ورواده ومسؤوليه، اللهم آمين آمين آمين. صلى الله عليه وسلم محمد وصحبه وسلم. لطالما رأينا مسجد الأنصار في الإنترنت وتابعناكم عبر الأثير على الهواء مباشرة في صلاة التراويح، أحببناكم قبل أن نلتقي بكم. كنا نتابع كل ليلة لأن في فرق توقيت 3 ساعات بين الساحل الشرقي والساحل الغربي.
الشيخ خالد.
نعم، الشيخ خالد لما لبس الجلابية عرفت وتأكدت أنه هو من يقف هنا ويصلي التراويح.
نعم.
وأنا أظن أن هنا مكان الصلاة وهنا يبدأ التصوير. أنا أتابع كل شيء يعني بدقة. مسجد الأنصار ووجوه رواد مسجد الأنصار. الآن رأينا مسجد الأنصار وتأكدت أن هنا تكون الإمام في الصلاة، أليس كذلك؟
أيوة.
المنبر هنا، التصوير من هنا.
أيوة. هو عمرو بقى تلاقي عمرو ولا
أنتم مراقبين.
شرف لينا.
نحبكم في الله. رأينا هذه الوجوه في رمضان، أرجو الله عز وجل ألا يحرمنا وإياكم عمارة بيوته، وأن يحفظنا وأولادنا من كل سوء، وأن يجمعنا في الجنة، اللهم آمين. التلاوة إن شاء الله ستكون مجودة، أما المرتب فسيكون في صلاة القيام إن شاء الله. أيضا حتسمعوا أحسن مني مليون مرة. الدكتور محمد عباس إن شاء الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يوم نحشر المتقين إلى الرحمن وفدا ونسوق المجرمين إلى جهنم وردا. يوم نحشر المتقين إلى الرحمن وفدا ونسوق المجرمين إلى جهنم وردا. لا يملكون الشفاعة إلا من اتخذ عند الرحمن عهدا. وقالوا اتخذ الرحمن ولدا لقد جئتم شيئا إدا. تكاد السماوات يتفطرن منه وتنشق الأرض وتخر الجبال هدا. أن دعوا للرحمن ولدا. أن دعوا للرحمن ولدا وما ينبغي للرحمن
الله الرحمن الرحيم So they set me up for failure to go right after that, so it's hard for me to talk and communicate with you guys. I love reward our Sheikh. I'm really humbled. I really shouldn't be on stage with our two Sheikh here, so it's a bit tough for me, so please bear with me. So like the brother said earlier, the Sheikh said earlier, my name is Salih. I'm currently serving as the Executive Director of the Muslim American Society Greater Los Angeles area. It's my honor to be with you guys tonight. Before I get into talking to you guys a little bit about Mass and Muslim American Society, I wanted to tell you guys a story. And the story is really about myself. I grew up actually on the East Coast, and as a young kid, I was, my passions in life, and at that age was really sports, and that's all that mattered to me. My parents told me, if you keep your grades at a straight A's, then will allow you to play sports. So that was really, I lived and died and ate, basketball and football. That was it. But there was people who, influenced me along that path, up until this age. And that was mostly when I was young. My dad would take me to these conferences, and at that time there was the ISNA conferences in Chicago, the ISNA Mina conferences, and at that time Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi and other great Sheikh would come. And I was young, so I didn't, for me, I didn't understand the gravity of who I was about to go see. But all of that really made an impact on me as an individual, because growing up, that led me to having other brothers sort of pull me in, and we would play, through basketball and through sports. We started a youth group at the masjid. And since then, we had other shuyukh that I was honored to sort of, influence me and mentor me as I grew. where Islam became something very important. And, you know, for all intents and purposes, you know, I'm of the generation, or the second, technically the second generation, where a lot of my generation really, when it comes to Islam and so forth, it's, you know, we're all Muslim, and most of the generation, of course, is Muslim, but it doesn't hold a very high priority. And even in raising, you know, now, alhamdulillah, I have a family. Even up in this age, a lot of the people that I grew up with, it's not that important to, you know, within the lives, as far as working for the sake of Allah and bringing other people and giving da'wah for the sake of Allah. And all of this really, all of this influence that came to me as an individual was from this organization called MAS. And for those of you who don't know, MAS is the largest Muslim organization across the United States. We work in more than 40 chapters in every major city. So it was all these influences and all of these institutions, like the masajid, like the conventions, like the youth groups, and all of the work that MAS did, that sort of along the way, now looking back at my life, I'm like, man, it was those little influences of brothers who sort of took the time to you know, talk or give a small khatara or take me to some type of a group and so forth. And I say this because, you know, MAS does a lot of work here in greater Los Angeles. MashaAllah, right now we work from our territories from the valley all the way down to South Orange County, across to the Inland Empire, and everything in between. And I'm sure you guys are very familiar with the conventions that we have. You guys are familiar with our youth groups. We just launched a Chamber of Commerce to help, you know, MAS itself is a social reform movement. Our purpose is Islah. And part of Islah, of course, is each one of these areas that we work in. Personal development. The majority of the members of MAS and the people who work within MAS are involved in the tarbiyah process. We have camps, really, when it comes to youth camps, we set the gold standard with the tarbiyah and ilm camps that we have at the end of the year. The type of impact that it makes on the youth is really unmeasurable. We have a lot of other organizations who come to us and ask us to consult them on youth camps because of the youth camps that we do have here, especially in Los Angeles. Every year we have it in Santa Barbara at the end of the year. But all of the work that MAS does, really, it really doesn't mean anything if we don't invest in our youth itself, which is the next generation of Islam. That's really what it is. It's you know, the linkage between generations, and it's really the future of Islam in America is within the youth. And we as a community have gotten to a point now where we're outgrowing the resources that we have. I mean, when I was talking about, I was in youth group, you know, 10, 12 people was a big youth, you know, it was a big youth group. It's like, wow, there's a lot of youth in that youth group. Today, with the size of the community, which has exponentially gone up in the United States, we have to invest in our youth. I work in different arenas and meet with different masajid, and the number one concern of every masajid and the leadership of the masajid happens to be youth. And yet, as a community, we really don't invest in it. So what's happening is we're seeing this disengagement from the brothers who are involved in this dawah for a long time. They see this generation, these past 5 years, we see a major disengagement of our youth. And this is very troublesome for us. Because, you know, if we're saying that Islam is the future of Islam is this generation of youth, and we're seeing this, you know, we're talking about the future of Islam in America, and we have to invest in it. One of the things that we were talking about recently was the brothers were discussing how we should have invested in real estate a lot earlier because we're outgrowing a lot of the masajid. If you go across the United States right now, most of the communities are outgrowing the masajid and the space that we have. But what about, and now we're looking back at it and we're saying, oh man, we didn't, you know, now the price of real estate's gone up, now it's a lot harder to expand, so forth, the community's outgrown. We're at this stage right now when it comes to the youth. Have we invested in our own youth, our own children? Because once you have a family, everyone here knows our purpose changes. It's about the success of them. It's not really the success of us anymore. So we as a community have to take investing in our youth seriously. So one of the things that we're doing here in Mass is that, you guys heard me, I was here during Ramadan, and I had also said the same thing. We're in the process of hiring a full-time youth director here for Orange County. And that full-time youth director, we cannot no longer work in what I call the tired hours, where someone has a full-time job or someone is is going to school full-time, and then they come for a couple hours on the weekends, and then they come and try to sort of put something together. Most of the time, this does not work. So we have to invest in people who can actually run the programs for youth, become mentors for our next generation. And that's really why, tonight we're going to be asking for everyone here to help in us. We're almost there. We're more than halfway there as far as hiring this youth director here for Orange County. So that's really what my purpose here tonight with you guys is to help you guys and help our community to invest in our generation of Islam, so that we would have the next generation of Sheikh Hassan Saleh and Muhammad Abbas here in the United States that would inspire the next generations beyond us. So I'm not a fundraiser, and I've been asking. So do you want to do it?
Yeah. So this is the hard part.